means the innocent people must have justice. And justice means the criminal that did it must really pay for what they have done. Payment could be prison, payment could be capital punishment, payment could be fine, whatever, right? But at least justice demands that the bad thing they have done, they need to be sorted for that, and the person who got, innocent person died, compensated. So that shows the idea of heaven and hell is actually essential if you believe in justice. The justice concept inevitably demands that there has to be a day of recompense, day of judgment, where everyone is given their due consequences what they have done. Yeah. Good for good and bad for bad. Yeah, okay. So when God sends some people or gives what they deserve in punishment and hellfire, it is not that God chose to do it. He doesn't want anyone to go to hellfire, but that is His justice making them go. Okay. There might be people, Muslims for example, they do many bad things, believe in God or bad things. It doesn't mean they'll just get away like that. No. They may be in hellfire for millions and billions of years, but eventually they'll return, because ultimately the key to heaven or paradise was to believe in this one God and acknowledge that one God.
What if you have, like, let's say a perfect Muslim that follows the Quran perfectly, believes in God and does everything, he goes to the paradise. Right?
You expect someone who does believe in the right things and does righteous deeds and dies on that state, the promise of God is they will be in paradise.
Okay. And now you have a person that does the same things as he does.
Same thing like what?
Same things, just being the same, be kind, be possible, maybe even like praise to God. Maybe he prays every day, 5 times a day. Okay. He prays, but he doesn't believe in God.
How can he pray to God if he doesn't believe in God?
He just does it for his family, for the tradition.
Then he's not being sincere, is it? Sincerity is very important. Okay. If you want how you will be treated, you need to sincerely. For example, now, just give brother. Oh, sorry, brother. Oh, sorry. And I don't mean it. No, I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. Now I'm meaning it. Yeah. He will forgive me. Yeah. But initially, when he saw that I was doing all of this, he'll say, "You don't really mean that. Sorry, your apology is not acceptable." So we need to have this kind of sincerity in the actions that we do. Yeah. So that person you were saying needs to be sincere to himself and sincere to his creator or her creator.
Yeah, but he doesn't believe in the creator.
If he doesn't believe in the creator, then how can he pray to this creator? Then he's actually making a mockery out of it. Do you believe in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No.
Would you pray to them?
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly. It's not something that will make sense to you.
But it's not also not a thing.
I think
like a lot of people.
What do you mean by believing?
Let's take Christianity. A lot of people get baptized, for instance, not because they initially believe in God or something, but just because the tradition and their family and the whole like society around it. So I would understand that there are also people who just pray to God just for the society, for the
Just because they have to pray.
Because they
feel like
very good question.
And they feel like it's the right thing to do. But they don't believe in God. They won't. So you say they won't go to paradise.
So what's happened is they're following a culture. Imagine the trend is you worship Harry Potter, right? And everyone does it. Oh, let's worship Harry Potter. Let's dance around and so on, right? It's a trend. They do that. But the reality is they have given an intellect, and the intellect they need to use it. If they did not use their intellect and started worshiping Harry Potter or this tree because it's fashionable to worship a tree, then they have failed to use and exercise the intellect properly. And based on that, their judgment will be. God will, in fact, let me show you. Well, look, it's questions like this. Look, here.
Moeten we zo gaan?
5 uur bijna.
Nee, we moeten zo gaan.
Weet ik niet, wat dat
Nee, we moesten eigenlijk een kwartier geleden gaan.
van mij heeft hij daar.
Ja, doe je
Yeah,
maar.
look, there are some people, this is a description of some people about to go into hellfire, right?
Ja.
And for those who disbelieve in the Lord and is the punishment of hell, wretched is the destination, when they are thrown into it, they hear from it a dreadful inhaling while it boils up.
Ja.
The whoosh, whoosh.
Ja, ja, ja.
You can imagine it's really, hellfire is really a very, very, not to go to place. It almost bursts with rage, this hellfire. Every time a company is thrown into it, its keeper asks them, did they not come to your warner? They will say, yes. A warner had come to us, but we denied and we said, Allah, God has not sent down anything. You are not but in great error.
Ja.
And then they will say, if only we had been listening or reasoning, we would not be among the companions of this place.
Ja.
If we were listening to the prophets and the messengers and the ambassadors of this message, or we used our reason, our intellect, we would not have ended up there. So those people who are culturally following something what is good, they have not used their intellect properly, because their intellect will tell you, don't worship Harry Potter. The intellect will tell you, don't worship a tree or a rat, whatever that might be, because they're not worthy of your worship.
Yeah.
So that is why we say the message of the Quran needs to go to them.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we come here is to convey that message, open up this avenue to people to understand this message.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If ultimately there are some people who do not hear anything about Islam, God will judge them accordingly. But the intellect will be questioned eventually.
Ja, ja.
So our responsibility has been from the day one to convey the message, and in fact Islam is everyone's fingertips now. You can type in on your Google phone or whatever, and you can learn about Islam. We need to be responsible people. We need to be caring people. We need to be people of peace and tolerance and harmony and justice and kindness, right? So once we take that responsibility, then we will start looking into the message of God and say, that makes sense to me. Why shouldn't I be? In fact, when you read the Quran, you will ask yourself, why shouldn't I be grateful to God? Why should I not be grateful to God, the one who gave me not only the intestine, but even the food to put in the intestine, to enjoy it and to sustain my life?
Yes, but that is, in the end, I think it's a belief. In the end,
It's a recognition of truth.
yeah, yeah.
Belief has to be based on something. The Quran gives you a foundation of belief, which is based on such a solid foundation that your heart and your mind, your intellect will agree with it.
But some people read the Quran and don't believe in it.
Some people can read the Quran and not believe in anything. They will be judged accordingly. Because belief is not something to be forced upon people.
Yeah.
Belief is an matter of choice of one individual.
Yeah.
So imagine now you realize he's your friend and you say, I don't care. You can call yourself my friend, but I don't believe in it. Up to you. It's all up to you. But the recognition is, you know that he's been your friend. You know that he's always been your friend. He always cares for you, looks after you. He will even die for you. Well, you can just simply say, I don't consider you my friend. You can do that. But there will be something what we call, you will not be truthful to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the recognition of the truth is of a paramount importance. Islam tells us that our heart already knows that there's a creator. We call that in Arabic word called fitra. Fitra. It's a natural disposition when everyone knows that there's a creator. Even children, when they grow up, if they were not conditioned by the society, they would know there's a creator. Studies have been done, right? A book is called Born Believer. Is it Justin Barrett? It's worth read from a scientist, PhD scientist, who explores the belief among young children, why do they have this kind of belief? Because that's already built in. It's hardwired within you, programmed within you. So that, the Quran says, so that you don't then question, oh, I didn't know anything about God. Oh, it was my forefathers, they believed differently. What happens is, the societal conditioning makes us not to see this truth. It's like you want to see yourself in the mirror, how smart you look and so on, but your mirror is so dusty. Would you be able to see yourself in the mirror? You won't be able to, because there's a dust that's accumulated in the mirror. Your heart also can accumulate all of these things which acts as a barrier to the truth. And every time you do something bad, this is what our Prophet ﷺ said, every time you commit something what we call a rebellion against God, against His will, something that you do bad, in the technical language it's called a sin. If you do something, a black spot gets on your heart. You do another one, another black spot, and that will cover your heart so much that it will be impervious for you even to see the truth. So our responsibility as decent human beings is to rectify ourselves regardless of whatever, as a human being, not to have any kind of bad behavior and belief in ourselves. And once we remove all these bad things from our belief and actions, we will be easy recipient of God's grace and mercy and His guidance. Guidance will come to us and we'll be recipient. For example, if you say, okay, give me guidance, but if your heart is not ready upside down, I won't be able to. It's like this. You say, look, I'm thirsty, I want water, and you give me a cup upside down. I can try giving you water, but I can't give you water because the cup is upside down. If it was the right way, I'll be able to pour some water. If your heart is not tuned and aligned correctly, meaning you're not really sincere and you're really, really wanting it, you'll never receive the guidance from God. So that's why God says, Inna Allah la yahdi, surely God does not guide, and He gives the categories of people, the oppressors, the liars, the people who are unjust, and so on. It's essential. So there's a whole principle at work. That's why some people, it's easy for them to accept Islam. But others, they have become so much black spot in their heart, metaphysical black spot in their heart, that even though see the truth, they don't get it. They become impervious to guidance. So that is something that is essential for us to realize, and this is the process of one's journey in accepting the truth. Sincerity, truthfulness, love for the truth, and being unbiased as much as you can, because bias can really make you not accept the truth at all. Like you'll say, oh, how can I believe in an Arabian prophet? I am German, I am English. You see,
that's why I took the book. That's why.
So what I'm saying is, the Quran. What's your name? Milan. I'm Mansur. Milan. The Quran takes each individual for themselves, and it will speak to you. And when the Quran speaks to you, that's the point for you to respond. Not to me, not to them, but to the one who created you and gave you this communication. You need to respond. So when you read the Quran and the Quran speaks to you, and you realize, yes, you need to sincerely respond to that call. And no one can help you in respond to that call. It has to be your call, because that's where your test is going to be. Did you respond to this call? Did you accept it, or did you become stubborn and arrogant and you said, I don't have time for that, I'm so busy now with my hashish, marijuana, ganja, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my this and that? Or are you going to say, look, this life is momentary, temporary, I'm not going to live for more than 130 years. Do you know anyone who lives more than 130 years? Well, more than 120 maybe. Some people in very organic villages, they live quite long. But that's 130 maybe maximum. Hellfire is not 130 years. Not 1 million, not 1 billion, not 1 zillion, not 1 Googleplex years. Do you know what a Googleplex is?
28 zeros or something.
Heaven, paradise, eternity. Hellfire, eternity. Where do we want to go? Do we want happiness? Yes. Do we want happiness for 120 years, or do we want happiness forever and forever? Forever and forever? So a wise person like yourself knows where our priorities should be. Our priorities should be.
Way to end because we have to go. Thank you.
Pleasure speaking to you, and to you. Do reflect on it. I will invite you to Islam because that's where the truth is, my friends.
Have a good day, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
May Allah guide us all closer to the truth.